Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High. Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai. It's your boy Yashar back at it with the young prophet Enoch. And today's class or topic is Lucifer. Who is he? All right. So we're gonna go into showing you that Lucifer is not Satan. All right. But instead, we're gonna show you who is he according to the scriptures. All right. So we're gonna start off with a little chat GPT conversation, right? So I put this in chat GPT, the question about Lucifer, just to get a little reference, right? And look what it says, right? So it says where Lucifer comes from. It says the name Lucifer shows up in Bible in the book of Isaiah 14 and 12 in older translations like King James Version. It says, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning?" It says, but here's the key point. The original Hebrew word is helel, meaning shining one or morning star. It says it was later translated into Latin as Lucifer. Really, and it says, which also means light bearer, which really Lucifer is the Latin word, which means morning star or light bearer. So originally, Lucifer was not a personal name. It was more like a title or description. Who is Isaiah 14 actually talking about? Context matters. Book of Isaiah 14 is addressing the king of Babylon, not explicitly a fallen angel. It uses poetic, symbolic language to describe a proud ruler being brought down, and we're gonna prove that with scripture. It says so many scholars say Lucifer in Isaiah, a human king described metaphorically. All right. Where Satan comes in. It says the figure called Satan appears elsewhere in scripture, like in the book of Job, he's an accuser. In the New Testament, he's called the devil, tempter, adversary. But the Bible never directly says Lucifer equals Satan. So it says how they got merged. Over time, especially in Christian tradition, that's the problem, Christian tradition, people connected Isaiah 14, fall from heaven imagery with passages like Ezekiel 28, King of Tyre, also symbolic, which we're going to go over, and Luke 10:18, I saw Satan fall like lightning, which we're going to go over as well. It says, this led to the idea that Lucifer equals fallen angel equals Satan. And now we're gonna go over all of this and show you that there's just a complete fallacy. So bottom line, biblically speaking, Lucifer is likely not originally Satan. Traditionally, in later theology, Lucifer became associated with Satan because of the fall from heaven verse. So your statement has a strong basis, especially if you're sticking strictly to the original context of the text. And that's what exactly we're going to do. So I want to show you something else before we get into the scriptures, right? This is Wikipedia. And go ahead and read that. The top one, Lucifer's folklore.
Lucifer is a folklore figure associated with the planet Venus.
So in early times, the title Lucifer, because this means morning star, it was always in reference to planet Venus. The Romans actually worshipped planet Venus, and they would call it Lucifer. Go ahead.
Subsequently used in Christianity as a name for the devil.
So subsequently means afterwards. Later on, it was used in Christianity as a name for the devil, right? So go down to people. So watch this. Look at these people with the title Lucifer. The first one.
Saint Lucifer of Cagliari was a bishop of Cagliari in Sardinia, known for his passionate opposition to Arianism. He is venerated as a saint in Sardinia.
So you see that there's a saint, a guy who was venerated as a saint, and he was Saint Lucifer. So even the early Christians didn't use Lucifer as Satan. Read the next one.
Lucifer of Siena was the first bishop of Siena. He was appointed in 306, 2 years after the death of Saint Ansano.
So in the 300s, all these people that were venerated as bishops and saints, they never used Lucifer as Satan. Okay, so a lot of people, they want to go back. Although you got to go back to the early church fathers. Well, the early church fathers used the name or the title Lucifer for themselves, right? Because it only means the morning star or the shining one or the light bringer, the one who brings light, or the shining one, right? Back in the hood, back in the days when you see somebody with a nice chain on and looking dip, you'll be like, "Oh, you shining," right? That's the shining one. They shining. All right. So let's get into these scriptures. Let me stop sharing this real quick, and let me share. Let me share my Bible real quick. Hold on. Let's get. All right. So we're gonna start off with Second Chronicles, and we're gonna start off with chapter 36 and verse 6.
This is the book of Second Chronicles, chapter 36 and verse 6. Against him came up Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and bound him in fetters to carry him to Babylon.
So the topic is Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, right? Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. All right. So let's go to Isaiah, and we're gonna read chapter 13. Right? Chapter 13. And I want verse 1. Let's start with verse 1.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 13 and verse 1. The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see.
So the burden of Babylon. So Isaiah, starting from 13 all the way to 14 and on, is talking about Babylon, right? It's talking strictly about Babylon. Let's go down to verse 19.
Verse 19. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees, excellency, shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah.
See that overthrowing. So God is going to overthrow Babylon. Look what it says. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. So this whole thing is about the downfall of Babylon, the destruction of Babylon. This is what Isaiah is going into, right? So let's go to chapter 14, and let's read it. Let's start with verse 4.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 4. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon.
Against the king of Babylon. So remember, context matters, right? So the context in Isaiah 14, starting from 13, is Babylon and the king of Babylon, right? So go ahead.
And say, how hath the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased?
Right, so he's the oppressor, right? The king of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar, is the oppressor, right? Let's read verse 5.
The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked, and the scepter of the rulers.
So the scepter. So the Lord have broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers, right? So this is King Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, is the ruler, right? He's the ruler. But watch, look how far we're gonna start reading how far his rule stretches. Let's go to verse 6.
He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations.
Oh, he that ruled the nations. See, remember verse 5 says the scepter of the rulers, because he rules the nations. King Nebuchadnezzar at this time was the ruler of all nations. Read on. As a matter of fact, read from the top.
He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted and none hinder.
Right. So he ruled the nations. Watch this. Let's go to the book of Daniel, and we're gonna read chapter 4 and verse 1.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 4 and verse 1. Nebuchadnezzar the king unto all people, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth, peace be multiplied unto you.
So Nebuchadnezzar is the king of all people and nations at this time. During his rule, he was the one who was ruling all nations. He had the nation shook, right? Let's jump down to verse 22.
Verse 22. It is thou, O king, that art grown and become strong, for thy greatness is grown and reacheth unto heaven.
And reaches what?
And reacheth unto heaven.
So read on.
And thy dominion to the end of the earth.
So his it says his greatness reaches unto heaven. Does that mean that he's so tall and huge as a person that he actually reaches up to the heavens? No, it's a metaphor. It's a analogy. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's how great he is. That it's like, oh my God, you reach the heavens. No, you don't really reach the heavens. It's just an analogy, just a metaphor, right? Okay, let's go back to Isaiah, and I want to read chapter. We're gonna read chapter 4, and we're gonna go back to let's pick up at verse 7. Hold on, wait. Sorry, chapter 4. Why am I ain't doing it? You got it? The Isaiah chapter 4, verse 7?
14.
14:7. Yeah, there you go. My bad. Go ahead, read verse 7.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 7. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing.
So it says the whole world is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. This is when the righteous are in rule, right? Let's prove that. Proverbs 29 and 2, right? 29 and 2. Yeah, go ahead.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 29 and verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn.
You see that? So when the righteous rule, the earth is nice and quiet and everything is in harmony. But when the wicked rule, everything is crazy, right? All right. This is Nebuchadnezzar with his craziness. Let's go back to Isaiah 14 and 8.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 8. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us.
Right. When ye are laid down, that means Nebuchadnezzar. When Nebuchadnezzar is out of power, even the trees rejoice. Right? Let's read verse 10. Verse 9.
Verse 9. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming.
So even hell is gonna be waiting for Nebuchadnezzar. Go ahead.
It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations.
Right, because remember, he was ruling and he was killing everybody who was in power so that he could be in power. So now all those kings that he killed, they're waiting for him in the grave. Go to verse 10.
All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we?
Right.
Art thou become like unto us?
Right, because he's going to lose his power and he's going to die just like them. And they're going to ask, oh, are you just like us now? Are you weak and become just like us? Right. Read verse 11.
Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vials. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee.
All right, read on.
How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nation?
You see? So now you come to verse 12, and it says, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? Remember, Lucifer just means the light bringer or the shining one, right? Son of the morning. How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weakest the nation? Nebuchadnezzar, as we read in earlier verses, he was the one who brought down the nations. He was the one that ruled the nations. So everything is context. You got to read everything in context, right? Let's go to, now I'm going to show you examples of heaven and people falling from heaven and different things like that, right? Let's go to Daniel, and we're going to go to chapter 4 and verse 22. So Daniel chapter 4, verse 22. Watch this.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 4 and verse 22. It is thou, O king, that art grown and become strong, for thy greatness is grown, and reacheth unto heaven, and thy dominion to the end of the earth.
Right. So this is Nebuchadnezzar, like we read before, and his excellency reaching unto the heavens, which it's a metaphor, right? Now let's show you other things similar to that in other scriptures. Let's go to Job, and we're going to go to 20 and verse 6.
This is the book of Job, chapter 20 and verse 6. Though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reach unto the clouds.
So can somebody's head literally reach unto the clouds? No, it says, look, though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reach unto the clouds. Again, this is just a metaphor for greatness, right? Read verse 7.
Yet he shall perish forever like his own dung.
You see that?
They which have seen him shall say, where is he?
You see that? So even though his excellence reaches up to the heavens, he's going to die because he's just a man, and reaching up to the heavens is just a metaphor. Okay? Let's go to Lamentations. Look at this falling from heaven, right? Lamentations 2 and 1. Go ahead.
This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 2 and verse 1. How hath the Lord covered the daughter of Zion?
The daughter of Zion, this is Israel. Go ahead.
With a cloud in his anger, and cast down from heaven unto the earth the beauty of Israel.
So wait a minute. So Israel was in heaven and then got cast down into the earth? No, it's a metaphor, right? The metaphor cast down from heaven is the kingdom, having a kingdom, and that because they messed up, they were thrown out of the kingdom, and now they're freaking nothing, right? They're slaves. So from being a kingdom and rulership to being slaves. So being cast out of heaven doesn't mean that you was in literal heaven, right? And we're going to keep going. Let's go back to Isaiah. This is going to be a short class too, because it's so simple. Let's go to Isaiah, and we're going to go to, no, you know what? Yeah, let's go to Isaiah 14 and 13.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 13.
So hold on, wait. Let's read verse 12 one more time and then go to 13. I'll read 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weakest the nations? Read verse 13.
For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven.
You see that? He said he would ascend into heaven. So if this is actually Satan, why would Satan say, I will ascend into heaven if he was already in heaven? Verse 12 says, how art thou fallen from heaven? But verse 13 says, for thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven. But wait, if you was already in heaven, how are you going to ascend into heaven? You was already there. Read on.
I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north.
See, so this is not talking about somebody actually freaking being actually going into heaven where God is. This is actually just being powerful, right? Okay. Verse 14 says, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High, meaning I'm going to be like a God. Verse 15 says, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, the sides of the pit, meaning you're going to die. You're going to be in a grave. If Satan is a spirit, he would already be, he won't die. You understand what I'm saying? Spirits don't die. So if Satan, the spirit, how can Satan, the spirit, be brought into the grave? Because that's what hell is talking about, is being put into the grave. We read before where it talks about the graves wait for you, right? Where is it? Where was that? Where we read that? The city broken, he smote the people in anger. The earth is at rest. Yea, the first trees to come against thee from beneath. All right, there, verse 9. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. That's the grave. When it says hell, that's the grave where all the other dead people are. All right. It's not a literal hell again, but that's another conversation. So let's keep going, right? Let's go to Let's go to Luke chapter 10, and we're gonna get some understanding about Satan when Jesus says, "Oh, he saw Satan fall like lightning," right? What is it? Luke 10, and we're gonna start at verse 17 to 19.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 10 and verse 17. And the 70 returned again with joy, saying, Lord, even the devils are subject unto us through my name.
So remember, through thy name. So remember, the devils are subject to the disciples because of the name of Christ. I'll say it again. The devils are subjected to the disciples by the name of Christ, meaning they have no power. Read on.
And he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven.
So meaning Satan has no power. That's what it's talking about when Satan as lightning falling from heaven. It means that Satan has no power. Read verse 19.
Behold, I give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions.
You see that? So now the power is given to the disciples, and Satan has no power over the disciples. Read on.
And over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall be by any means hurt you.
You see that? So falling from heaven doesn't mean you literally fell from heaven. It's talking about you lost your power. You have no power. We read that in Lamentations, in Lamentations, right? What is it? Lamentations 2:1, where we spoke about how even Israel fell from heaven, meaning they fell from their kingdom. They fell from their kingdom. So this Lucifer, which is Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, he fell from his power. He fell from having power and being the ruler of the nations, right? Now let's go to Ecclesiasticus and 10 and 8.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 10 and verse 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another.
You see, because you can lose the kingdom and then someone else gets the kingdom. All right. Let's go to Ezekiel, and I want to read go to Ezekiel 28 and 2. Because now we're gonna read about the king of Tyre, right? Go ahead.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 28 and verse 2. Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Lord God, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God.
See, hold on. So the king of Tyrus is saying that he's a God, right? He's calling himself a God. Read on.
I sit in the seat of God.
And he sits in the seat of God, like as far as judgment, right? And the man being the man. Read on.
In the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man, and not God. Though thou set thine heart as the heart of God.
Right. So Ezekiel's prophesying him, saying, even though you set yourself up as a God and you think you're a God, you're not. You're a man, and you're going to die like men, right? So that's just an example to show you that this is not, because they used Ezekiel 28 and 2 as a reference for Satan also, but this ain't Satan. This is the prince of Tyrus, or the king of Tyre, right? This is not at all talking about Satan. And the misinterpretations of the scriptures is crazy when you actually think about how people take scripture and they take one verse and they actually make a whole doctrine. If you really look at America has taken that whole Lucifer concept and ran with it. They make movies, they make TV shows. Everything that has to do with the devil, you see Lucifer right away. Lucifer. And meanwhile, Lucifer is Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, which we already proved, right? We already proved that. But let's go to then we're gonna wrap it up now. Let's go to 2 Thessalonians, and I want to read chapter 2, and we're gonna read verse 3 and 4.
This is the book of 2 Thessalonians, chapter 2 and verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
Right. Son of perdition. Let no man deceive you by any means. And people are being deceived with the whole Lucifer is Satan. Lucifer is just the one that's ruling, which is which at this time it was Nebuchadnezzar. And like the brother put in the chat, at this time, yeah, it's Trump. Like Trump could be considered Lucifer right now because he's the one that's ruling and making the nations weak, right? Brother's on point, exactly. Yeah, Jay-Z misinterpreted that and made a whole song out of it, right? Lucifer, son of the morning, right? That whack stuff. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, people are so deceived that they allow like the most stupidest things to make music, movies, and just change their mind, right? Read verse 4.
Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God.
All right. So any man could set himself up to be just as important as God. Trump is doing that. All of our presidents have done that. You got dictators in other countries that have done that, like Hitler, Stalin, Leopold. You know, certain people like that actually set themselves up. Like if there's some big stuff, that's who you would call Lucifer, because those are the people who are in power and ruling nations, just like Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. All right. So I hope y'all got that. I hope y'all understood that. Very simple. That, to me, that was like the most simplest thing I ever had to explain. It's real simple. It's real easy to understand. Go over the class again from the beginning and you can see it's very simple, man. Lucifer is not Satan. He is actually king of Babylon when you looking at Isaiah chapter 14. All right. He is King Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. All right. It's not Satan. With that, I'm gonna say Shabbat Shalom. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Hit that like button and please share. Shalom, y'all. Shalom.